Good day, Sir Arce, and to all viewers of this video. Today, we will talk about geological faults. Here are the objectives for our learning time.
We will discuss about the following: definition of fault, parts of a fault, types of force or stress, and lastly, the focus and the epicenter.
But before that, let me share how I did my fault model.
I have these templates of rock beds made from watercolor paper. The other one is the footwall block, while this one below is the hanging wall block. After assembling and coloring using oil pastel, this is the result. Now, we have a representation of a fault.
Be with me as we learn about geological faults. What's a fault, by the way?
In geology, fault refers to a fracture between two blocks of rock. Faults are almost anywhere around the world. An example of a fault here in the Philippines is the West Valley Fault, which is located in the National Capital Region, or NCR. Another example is the San Andreas Fault located in California, USA.
Now that we know what is a fault, let us learn about its parts. Here are the major parts of a fault.
The first part is the fault plane. This is defined as the plane which represents the fracture surface of a particular fault. Next one is the fault trace. Fault trace is the intersection of a geological fault within the Earth's surface which leaves a visible or remarkable mark on the surface.
As an emphasis, the fault plane is the fracture seen or observed beneath the Earth's outermost surface, but it's still on the Earth's crust. While the fault trace is the specific part of the fault that can be seen directly on the outermost surface.
We also have the fault scarp, which refers to the small offset or small step on the ground surface where one side of a fault has moved vertically with respect to the other, as we can see on the model. Lastly, we have the hanging wall and the footwall. The hanging wall is the rock material that lies above the fault plane. In opposition, the footwall is the rock material that lies below the fault plane.
But wait, in the model, the hanging wall is below the footwall. What type of fault is this? Let's find out in the next section.
There are three major types of fault. The first one is the normal fault. Normal fault is when the hanging wall slips downward, which appears the footwall to be above the hanging wall. Next is the reverse fault. Since it is a reverse fault, the opposite thing occurs. It may be the hanging wall is moved upward in relation to the footwall, just like shown in the model, or the footwall is displaced downward with respect to the position of the hanging wall. Lastly, the strike-slip fault. This type of fault is described as an occurrence wherein the two blocks slide past one another.
We successfully accomplished 3 out of 5 parts of our today's objective. And you may wonder, how blocks move? The answer for that will be unlocked as we learn about the types of forces or stresses between two blocks of rocks.
The first type of force is called tension. Tension refers to the force that pulls rocks apart. Because of this, the rock stretches and becomes thinner. Next is called compression. If tension pulls rocks apart, compression squeezes rocks together, resulting in crystal rocks to occupy less space. Last but not least, shearing. Shearing pushes rocks in opposite directions. Due to this, sheared rocks twist, bend, and break.
When faults move, energy is released called seismic waves. But where is it released?
When faults move, energy is released on the focus. It is the place where fault ruptures. The location right above the focus is called the epicenter. To sum up what we learned, first, fault refers to a fracture between two blocks of rock. Second, the 5 major parts of a fault are the fault plane, fault trace, fault scarp, the hanging wall, and the footwall. Next, there are 3 major types of faults, named normal fault, reverse fault, and strike-slip fault. Then, the 3 types of forces or stresses are tension, compression, and shearing. Lastly, the focus is where energy is released, and the area where fault exactly ruptures. Right above the location is called the epicenter.
We finished our objectives for today. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope everyone learned something. Goodbye!